we have many sanskars. We have the sanskars of peace, purity, love, but we also have the sanskar of lust, anger, greed, ego. And these are the acquired sanskars which have been acquired for in the journey of the last 63 births. And now the force of these sanskars is also very huge. But just like we understood that, the key to the sanskars lies in consciousness. So even when we talk about these sanskars of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, they also have a connection with our consciousness. Do you have an attitude of lust and anger towards everybody? Yes, do you have that towards everybody? No. Do you shout at the boss? You don't shout at the boss. Why? Because you know that that's not right. So you see that there is a sanskar. You have the sanskar, but then it gets activated only when you're body conscious. So Baba says that we have this body consciousness, this consciousness which makes us see ourselves not as a soul, but as a male and a female, or as an employee or a child or a parent. So this consciousness that makes us see ourselves and identify with the gender, with the bodily relationship that I have with the other, this consciousness is key to the activation of these sanskars of lust and anger also. Yes, so you see that if you are trained, so if your consciousness is that I am a female and it is improper to shout at a male, then even if you feel hurt or something, you will not behave ill. But if your consciousness is that I am a female and it is okay to shout at a male, then you will shout at him. So it's all conditioning. You see that some children, my mother, my Lokik mother, she never shouted at anybody in a male body. That was very interesting. Even when my brother was very small, very little, she would never shout at him. She would say that, this is the sun, so you can't shout at the sun. So it was very interesting to see those things. And so you see, it's all consciousness and conditioning. And you see that if you know that you can't shout at the boss, you don't get angry at the boss. Or even lust, you see, anybody, however lustful, if you have the mindset that you cannot have a lustful eye towards if you are in a male body, then your mother or your sister, or in a female body, you have this conditioning that you cannot have lustful vision towards your father or your brother, or so you will not have that. But apart from that, everybody is on the radar. So Baba says that and again if there's thing that you have to be so this concept of fidelity, infidelity, all of these things also have they have different definitions over time. So if you have this conditioning that when you're unmarried, so you can have lustful vision towards everybody, but when you're married, you can't have that. So so again that conditioning also changes your vision. So you see that your drishti or your vision is dependent on your outlook, your attitude. And your attitude is a product of your consciousness. So Baba says that practice to be soul conscious. So I'm a soul and everybody is a soul, and there are no husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, parents, children, friends, no, their bosses, colleagues, no. Everybody is just a soul. Nobody is a male or a female. And first thing that we need to practice is that I am a soul. I am genderless, casteless, religionless. I do not identify with my profession, my social status. So if I just look at myself as a being of light without any of this baggage, then I am able to see others also, because the law says you perceive as you are. So it is very important to see myself as the soul, and when I see myself as a soul and I train myself to see the soul. So when we come to Gyan, we are given this lesson that whenever you talk to somebody, in the world people will tell you that have eye contact. Yes, so Baba says, so Shiv Baba's directions are not the same as the worldly directions. So Baba will say, don't look at the eyes, look at the center of the eyes. And if you look at the center of the eyes or the eyes, the other person won't know the difference. But you keep your physical eyes also on that point between the eyes, and always keep in awareness that this is a soul. This is not the body in which the soul is living, or the work they are doing, or what they have, or what they do. This is just a soul. And Baba says, with that vision, if you talk to everybody, and then you see that Baba has told us that I am your Supreme Father and you're all my children. So according to, if I have imbibed this basic knowledge that Baba is my parent, then only I have the faith that every soul is my brother's soul. So the primary thing is Baba is my father, teacher, Satguru. And when you have that firm faith, then everybody, by virtue of this relationship with Baba that I have, everybody is a brother's soul. And souls are genderless, so you don't say sister souls or brother souls, but for convenience we say brother souls. It's not like we are males or something, but it is genderless, and our language is very gender specific, so we say brother souls. So Baba says, when you train yourself to see like this, so the drishti, the vision, that unlocks the sanskar. And when you have pure vision, when you have soul conscious vision, then the evil spirits that are lurking inside you, the spirits of anger or lust, basically these two and then others also, those spirits will not raise their head. They are there, but they will not raise their ugly head. And then Baba tells us that, okay, this is for you, but what if you find somebody, you are in, you are with somebody whose evil spirits are active, and somebody is under the influence of lust or anger, then what do you do? So do you try to calm them down? Do you try to explain to them? Do you try to make them understand things? What do you do in that situation? So have you seen that sometimes people get very angry, and Baba says it's like the ghost of anger, or the evil spirit of anger has taken over. and or somebody is into a lot of lust, then what do? You stand there and say, this is not right, you are a soul and you can't behave like this, or what do you do in that situation? So Baba says, just leave from there. Just protect yourself, because anybody who is not in their control, you shouldn't trust them with decent behavior or responsible behavior. So when somebody is not in their control, you don't trust them for responsible behavior, and you shouldn't think about correcting them or asking them whether this is right or wrong. You should just focus on protecting yourself at that time. And Baba says, in any case, in Gyan, we have this law, safety first. Yes, so safety first. So if something is going to attack you, you first be safe, then you help others. So just like when you board a flight, they will tell you that before helping others, just put on your safety belt. So that's how it is. So you have to be safe first, and if you feel that you are in a situation where you can be attacked because somebody is under the influence of anger and lust, don't go into your Vishwa Kalyankari mode at that time. Go focus on Swa Kalyan. Just just leave that place. Just protect yourself. And I will tell you one incident. So I have spoken about this and shared this earlier also. There was this one Mata, and she shared that her brother-in-law used to have these, big anger spells, and he used to get very angry. And she said that there was one time when my husband was having food, and my brother-in-law started arguing with me, and he was telling me something, and then usually there is an argument at home most of the times, but that day that argument started escalating, and then he got very angry. And because I thought that he is my brother-in-law, and he is pretty harmless, so you see that I perceived him as he's just my brother-in-law, so how can he harm me? So I thought about it, and then I continued explaining to him, or calming him down, that why are you getting angry? I'm just telling you a simple thing and this and that. And in his fit of anger, he just pulled my clothes and they tore apart. And she said that my husband was watching all that, and he was there, and then he came running and he beat my brother-in-law like anything, and then he drove him out of the house. And from that day onwards, there was this very awkward situation where my brother-in-law and my husband don't talk, and he never comes to the house. And so he said, so she was telling me, I don't know how to repair this situation. So I said, okay, you see, whatever is done is past, but the thing is, you have to learn from this incident. It's not that, this is just my brother-in-law, this is just my father, this is just my sister or my mother. So you see, if somebody is in anger, you don't go and face them. You don't go and confront them. You at that time, you just have to protect yourself, because they are not in their senses. And when they are not in their senses, so you cannot trust somebody who is not in their senses. And you cannot say, they are accountable for their behavior, because they are not in their senses. So at that time, you have to protect yourself. And although drama is predestined and all, but just as an example, so you see, if that lady had left that place and not not given him scope for any argument, then this incident which scarred them for life wouldn't have happened. And you see, this is just an incident which scarred the honor or something, but then there are incidents when people just take a knife and kill. So Baba says that, and that damage is also, it is irreversible, and any damage, when it is done, it is pretty irreversible. And so Baba says that when you see that somebody is in anger, don't look at the body at that time, this is only my brother, only my sister, only my husband. No, no, not only. This is a soul, and this soul is under the influence of the evil spirit of anger, and you just leave that place at that time. Don't go and confront that. It's not a good idea to challenge evil spirits. Yes, so Baba says that don't do that. And so for ourselves, we have to train ourselves to have soul conscious vision so that our vices are not triggered. And for others, if you notice that, just don't confront or argue, leave that place, and physically protect yourself. And I will tell you one thing, this is about big things like lust and anger. Let me talk about attachment. So you see, there is this family which we know, and the father comes to the center. And yesterday the father was telling me that my daughter has a physical condition in which she has this pain in the whole body, but that pain is not physical, that pain is psychological. It is called fibromyalgia. And in such a condition, what happens is, you have this idea that you are in pain, and your body is physically fine, but it's a psychological condition where you experience the pain which is not there. And there is basically no known treatment for it. And because of that fibromyalgia, and the pain gets triggered, when the stress or something, because it's all psychological. So when there is stress, the brain starts acting that way. So then he was telling that because the daughter has this condition, so she is not able to attend exams and perform, because whenever the stress gets triggered, there is acute pain experience, and then she has to take rest. So when she goes to write the exams, that happens. And then he said that my wife, she is so scared of this condition of my daughter that she is always making sure that she never gets triggered under stress. So she serves her food on the bed. She doesn't make her get up. She doesn't make her study. So she has made her like this permanent patient who is served everything on the bed and never getting up from the bed, because she feels that if she studies, if she gets up, maybe she'll get stressed and maybe the pain will get activated. So there's so much blind attachment with the child that my daughter is sitting on the bed 24 hours a day. So she doesn't even get up from the bed apart from going to the washroom. She's not going anywhere. And he was telling me that as a father, I am very irked by this, and I and my wife fight all day about this, where I tell her that she needs to come out, and even if the pain gets triggered, she will take rest, but she has to exercise, she has to take some steps. And he said that I and my wife are not on the same page, and because of that there are constant fights and constant arguments, and because of that I feel like leaving the house now. So just think about it. It's not just anger or lust, but even if somebody is in deep attachment, what do you do in such a situation? Can you make them see the reason? So is the husband able to make the wife see reason in this? No. So the wife is doing her own thing, and the husband. So then I told her, what is happening to you? So he said, I have no zeal to go to the office. I'm so drained fighting with my wife, and I'm so lost thinking about my daughter and her future with my wife, that I feel very drained and very, demotivated. So I said, now you have to start protecting yourself. Don't go into, correcting them. So, yeah, of course, as a parent, I would say that, you have every right to correct. But the thing is, if that correction is not working, then what do you do next? If that correction that you're giving is not being taken and you are being affected by it, then stop the correction and start protecting yourself. So this is how, Baba says that whenever, anything takes an enormous shape. So, the enormity is what we call the evil spirit. So, little anger, little streak of something is okay. But if it is enormous, even if somebody is in great attachment, that attachment takes the form of blindness. And in the Shastras, we have this story where Dhritarashtra is shown as blind, and that blindness is a symbol of attachment. So Baba says that anything, too much of any evil spirit is very blinding. In any case, evil spirit is blinding, but when it is to a certain degree, it's very blinding. And in that case, you cannot make the other person see reason by talking it out or by having an argument or through any confrontation. So in these situations, the only way to go about things is protect yourself. Okay. And after you protect yourself, I think, the other thing you can try is raising your spiritual stage and power. So if you work on yourself, you work on yoga power, then maybe you will be in a stage where, at a different time and place, your words and your behavior will have an influence on the other soul. But in this time when you are in not such a powerful place and the other one is in a lot of negativity, at that time the only method is to protect yourself. So this is the thing. And then Baba today says that those children who, so usually Baba tells us that there is this definition of astik and nastik, theist and atheist. And Baba says that those who have known me and the creation through me, so those who have known the details of who I am and what is the beginning, middle and end of the creation through me, they are called theists. So, astik. But today Baba says that, okay, even if you've got the introduction of who I am and of the beginning, middle and end of the creation, if you are still not following Srimat, and if you're not developing a soul conscious stage, and if your behavior is not in alignment with virtues, but evil spirits are taking over you, and your behavior is that of lust and anger, then it would be said that you're still an atheist. So you have known but not known. So this is also something new that Baba is saying today. And then Baba today also talks about one human dictate not matching the other. What is a human dictate? That which we call mat, Manushya mat. So, everybody's opinion and direction. So, Baba says that there is Ravan mat and there is Shrimat, right? Now, Shrimat is one. Okay, Shrimat, that Baba tells us, godly opinion, godly direction is one in every situation. Okay, so it's not like Baba would say, if you are a householder, this is the direction for you. If you are a sannyasi, this is the direction for you. No, godly direction is the same for every soul, because that direction is for the soul, and Baba talks to the soul. And Baba says that, okay, if you are having a different context, so if you are in the household or you are a single person, so maybe you are a Kumar or a Kumari, or you are a householder, I will understand that your context is different, and I will tell you to figure out how you would do what I am telling you, but you have to do what I am telling you. It's not like you are exempted. It's not like I will tell you that you don't have to do this because you are in a different context. So, Baba says, even if somebody is on the deathbed, Baba would say that listen to the Murli and then leave the body. But how you would do that is your problem. If you're fit and fine also, listen to the Murli. If you're on the deathbed also, listen to the Murli. If you're severely ill also, listen to the Murli. So Baba's directions are very clear. If you have no money also, do Yajna Seva. If you have a lot of money also, do Yajna Seva. So Baba wouldn't say that, if you have no money, you are exempt. No. Baba would say, if you don't donate 1 rupee, how will I give you multiplicative of that? So if you can do 1 rupee, do 1 rupee. If you can do 1 crore, do 1 crore. But you have to do something. So Baba says that my direction is always the same. Purity, Baba would say purity, the direction of purity is the same for every soul. Be pure through body, mind and wealth. But you see, Ravan Mat. Now, Ravan Mat is lust, ego, anger, attachment, greed, right? But this Ravan Mat is very interesting. So, every soul is under the influence of Ravan Mat. But the permutation combination is very different. So, the different permutations you can create out of 3 numbers. So, think about 5, how many permutations are possible? And those permutations and, again the intensity, if you take into account from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, then how many permutations, combinations can you have? And Baba says that these many varieties of Ravan Mat you have. Right? And although everybody is vicious, we are all vicious, but we don't agree with each other. Because we are not vicious to the same tune. So, everybody is vicious to a different tune. So, the sound of viciousness or the vibration of viciousness is very different. And that's why Baba says, nobody agrees with anybody. So, everybody would say that, anger is fine. Nobody would say that. And if you see, you hear this in conversations also. People would say that, I'm not saying don't get angry, but don't get so angry. Right? And the other person would say, but did I get so angry? Just look at the situation. It demanded it. And I had to get this much angry. So there was a no, you just crossed a line. So no, I didn't cross any line. Had you been in that situation, you would have also crossed a line. Now they both are saying anger is right. But how much anger is right is the debate. So everybody is saying, lust is a biological need. So in the world, Ravan tells you that lust is a biological need. But then you take this argument for lust and say that, even when somebody is infected with a STD or AIDS, then the biological need stays the same, right? But then at that time they will be said, don't go into lust because you might transmit the disease. So at that time, why don't you talk about human rights? So Baba says that everybody has different standards. Some would say lust is allowed at this age. Somebody would say no, these days we start young, so it's allowed. Somebody would say no, before marriage it's a sin, after marriage it's okay. Somebody would say these days, before marriage also it's okay, but only 5 people, not more than 5. So these are the things that we are dealing with. So Baba says that, in this Ravan Rajya, it is very interesting that everybody is in Ravan Rajya, but no two people will agree with each other. And the only way in which we will agree with each other is if we leave Ravan Mat and take Shrimat. So when we agree with Baba, we agree with each other. Otherwise, we may be all vicious, but we will never agree with each other. And we will always say, my opinion, my direction is right. So you see that in the family also, in one small family, if you look at it, everybody is vicious these days in a Lokik family. And if nobody is saying lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed are, sin, evil spirits, or we have to win over it. But when everybody is vicious, still why do we don't agree with each other? This is a very interesting thing if you think about. Because the thing is, in Ravan Rajya, basically when you are vicious, you cannot agree with each other. And viciousness cannot be the same. And viciousness will always lead to conflict and debate. So Baba says that now you leave that Ravan Mat. Don't go into these arguments. In the Ravan Rajya, there is absolutely no scope of this concept of coming on the same page with each other, because that doesn't happen in Ravan Rajya. But if you take Shrimat and you agree with Baba, then if you work on yourself, you agree with everyone else. And we agree on the same things, although, maybe we are not in the same stage, but conceptually, every Brahmin agrees with what is right and what is wrong. So Baba says, this is the beauty about Shrimat. So Baba says, just listen to me. I am your Supreme Father, Supreme Teacher, Satguru, and whatever I say is right. And what do I say about conflict of opinion? Baba says, there will always be difference of opinion. Just don't let it change into conflict of opinion. Baba says, never try to think that there won't be difference of opinion. Difference of opinion will be there, but don't let it change into conflict of opinion. And Ravan Rajya, we say, let's not have difference of opinion, but that will never happen. So Baba says, take Shrimat and don't follow Ravan Mat, because in Ravan Mat we will always have conflict of opinion. Okay, Om Shanti.